We had gone to our banks. We were at that time about a 40-year-old company. They look at us like we're crazy that we want to borrow money to, buy rafts that we're going to inflate with air and float down the river away from them.
The Progress Fund is a CDFI located in Pennsylvania, but we cover 4 states in northern Appalachia, a set of rural communities that need to find new economies. So tourism was a very big economic opportunity for us. Yet nobody provided the funding, nobody provided the financing, and a lot of small businesses were voicing the need for capital. That's where the Progress Fund went in and filled that need.
Progress Fund stepped in and said, sure, we get it, and happy to have those assets.
Southwestern Pennsylvania has been going through a 60-year recession. These towns have been distressed, they've been losing population, and everybody's been looking for more a way out than a way up.
Our trail system is 25 years in the making. It started off with 11 miles in Ohio Powell State Park. And so as trail has come online and major connections have been made, we've been able to market, advertise, brag about our trail system in a greater way. We were very successful, we feel, in building trail, but we realized around 2001 that the communities were not taking full advantage of the economic opportunity that the trail system was bringing to their table. So we decided to address that and created this idea called Trail Towns and turned to the Progress Fund as a partner in developing the concept as well as in implementation.
We work in 8 communities across 2 states that never really had reason to feel connected to one another before, and now they do, and it's all because of the bike trail.
The tourism economy really relies on 3 services that are needed. People want to eat, people need accommodations, and they want to do a little shopping. So we focus who we make our loans to are people that are providing those services.
We've been impressed by the fact that the Progress Fund focuses on how to focus their capital on communities where there is leadership and around a specific industry that makes sense for that town.
They're assessing it like any other bank or loan officer would. You don't want the project to fail. You don't want to lose money. And at the same time, you have kind of a dual mission, where a bank may look at it from the point of view of making a loan and making money on that loan. The Progress Fund really has a community purpose as well as a financial purpose. And the community purpose is to see these towns develop and thrive. And they, of course, want to do that in the context of making money. Yet they're probably a little more willing to take a risk on a business than a traditional banker would.
We've talked to each one of our borrowers individually and structured their deals the way they saw their cash flow during their high season and low season. And we have also structured our deals that we did not have to charge them high interest rates because we want to see these businesses succeed.
This type of lending has been a rejuvenation for these trail towns. And the other thing that the Progress Fund has done, if they see a particular need for a business, they'll go out and recruit an entrepreneur.
We look for small businesses that want to go and work in some of these small rural towns, a lot of B&Bs.
The dream I think Michael and I had was to change up our life. I think it is so exciting to realize that the Progress Fund has given small business such a big opportunity along the Great Allegheny Passage.
I think when the trail started out, most people were very skeptical. There was a lot of comments as to it would be bringing the riffraff and all these sort of things, and now they find out that is not the case.
Judy Pletcher, she owns one business, and then she came to me and said, I'm thinking about opening a hostel, and that made for the first hostel along the Great Allegheny Passage. When she started, she didn't even know what a hostel was, but she saw a business opportunity, and that's what's so great about the businesses along our trail. And within the year, her hostel was opening and providing key services along the gap.
Of course, I employ 11 people. And so between the 2 businesses, and everything snowballs from there.
What attracted me to the area and to the business was I was a computer salesman by trade and was downsized and was ready to move on to the next phase of my life. And so I was kind of putzing around trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I kept seeing the bike trail, and I kept telling myself I got to get a piece of this bike trail. And wasn't sure how we were going to get a piece of the bike trail, but was literally standing across the road in the parking lot and looking at this particular building and thought, well, geez, I wonder if I can get that business. I didn't know how to do that. I went to large banks told me to go to small banks. I went to small banks told me to go to community banks. Community banks kept telling me what a wonderful business plan I had, but it just wasn't a fit, wasn't right for them. And then we found the Progress Fund, who came to us and said, this is exactly what we do. So it was a perfect partnership. You know, running a small business, it's incredibly hard, and it's obvious to me why so many small businesses fail. It's hard, it's a lot of work, it's financially challenging. But I can tell you, I have a love-hate relationship with every other Friday. That happens to be payday. And I hate payday because there's lots of money going out, but at the end, I look at the stack of checks and I truly feel good that there are 27 people working in this town because of this business and the vision that I had, and that makes me feel really, really good. It's a great feeling, and it's a good feeling to have people in the town come up to me and thank me for opening this business, that the town needed a place like this. And they literally come up and thank me as they're giving me their money. It's a pretty neat thing.
Work that I do in Maryland is similar to what they did in Pennsylvania. We saw that Pennsylvania was having great success with this Trailtown program in getting economic development off of the Great Allegheny Passage. They're building, businesses around the trail. They're getting people off of the trail and into those businesses. So we went to the Progress Fund and said, we can come up with some matching funds to bring this program into Maryland, to get this also to help out the towns in Maryland of Frostburg and Cumberland. So we've been working with those two towns over the last several years on building economic development around the Great Allegheny Passage, and been quite successful in helping businesses. And what we try to tell businesses is we're not going to make or break your business, but if we can increase your business by 10 to 20%, we're trying to make them more sustainable, which helps the bottom line community all around in that everybody benefits.
The piece of the Progress Fund being part of Trailtown programs and being on the Great Allegheny Passage and then extending that into Maryland, I happen to be the president of Mountain Maryland Trails, which is the Maryland section of the Great Allegheny Passage. And there's tremendous good work being done over the last 4 or 5 years, just getting the small towns to realize the economic engine that would drive a new kind of economy.
The Savage River Lodge is 45 acres and we're surrounded by 750 acres of state forest. We have a 12,000 square foot main lodge building that houses the restaurant, bar, gift shop, great room, and then we have 18 individual log cabins, kind of glamorous camping, kind of roughing it in high end.
If you went back 2 years ago, according to Maryland Tourism, we actually probably pumped into the economy in our period of time that we've been there about $45 million of direct and indirect because of a new business that's there.
I think the Progress Fund has a real deep understanding of tourism. We recently approached the Progress Fund to finance a point-of-sale system for us, and they understood real quickly how critical that was to our business and made it very easy to obtain the financing to put in the new system.
So others have brought their enthusiasm and energy resources to the effort. SCA has provided each of these towns with a young professional to work in those communities and keep the action going when we can't be there all the time ourselves.
The Student Conservation Association normally works with environmental organizations or conservation organizations. So this is actually a really unique project for them to work with the Economic Development Organization. So our team is set up that each person is assigned a town to be the primary town contact for, so essentially it becomes their community. It's their community to develop friends with, to know what's going on, to keep the pulse of that entire community. One way that we've worked with the Progress Fund just recently is with bicycle racks. It's been an infrastructure improvement push, and that's been to get bicycle racks in the community.
The great thing about Trail Towns is that this program is completely replicable. It has garnered national attention by the National Park Service, by the Corps Network, and by AmeriCorps.
businesses that we have funded are showing others about new opportunity. And they're becoming kind of a new rallying point for the towns to breathe new life into themselves. We have two next effects. One is we're going to deepen and broaden our own investment and work in the region that we're serving now. The second is to go national, not ourselves, but providing what we've learned to others to take this into their communities.